A car sits abandoned, crumpled against a snowbank on a pitch-black rural road. The engine is cold, the doors are locked, and all around it, a blanket of fresh winter snow lies entirely undisturbed. There is not a single footprint leaving the scene. This is Route 112 in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. On a February night in 2004, it became a real-world locked-room mystery, a physical environment so isolated that it defies conventional forensic logic. The timeline is tight. Shortly after the crash, a local bus driver spoke with Maura, drove home to call the police, and 10 to 12 minutes later, an officer arrived. The car was locked and packed with belongings, but Maura was gone. Every second spent at that site reinforces the physical contradiction. Exiting this scene without leaving a single trace in the surrounding snowbank is a feat that investigators still cannot explain. To understand the crash, we have to look at the driver. Maura was a 21-year-old nursing student at UMass Amherst, a star athlete and a former West Point cadet. She was trained to handle high-pressure environments. But in the days leading up to the accident, that discipline began to crack. During a late-night shift at her campus job, she suffered a severe emotional breakdown, weeping and crying out for her sister. What followed was a series of calculated steps. She emptied her bank account, lied to her professors about a death in her family, packed her car with clothes and textbooks, and drove away. She crossed state lines, heading north toward the remote White Mountains. No one in her life, not her father, friends, or boyfriend, knew where she was going. When Maura's calculated secrecy met that sudden crash, it created a void of information that hasn't been filled in 20 years. This diagram shows the 3 strict environmental constraints of that night, the forensic filter. Any theory about what happened to Maura must survive the presence of undisturbed snow, a 10-minute window of time, and absolute isolation. The first major hypothesis is the woods theory. Did a panicked Maura flee into the dark forest to avoid a DUI and freeze to death in the cold? Over the last 2 decades, authorities have tested this. Massive search operations using specialized radar and rescue dogs have scoured the surrounding forest, digging through the deep drifts for any sign of her. Yet every search hits the same physical roadblock. Forensic teams confirmed on the first night that there were no footprints leading off the road and into the tree line. Firmly, this means Hypothesis 1 fails the environmental test. The pristine snow creates a strong forensic indicator that, despite the proximity of the trees, she never set foot in them. If she didn't walk into the woods, did she walk down the dark road and step into a killer's